Well, having survived a match dart in his quarter-final, pre-tournament favourite Jeff Smith has safely navigated his semi-final against Dan Lauby and will meet John Norman Jr. in the final of this year's North American Championships. Here is how he got there, and John Norman. John Norman coming through 6-5 against Dawson Michelle in his semi-final, and Jeff Smith, we've just seen him getting the better of Dan Lauby in his semi. And it's probably not been sort of as smooth sailing as many thought it would be for Jeff Smith, but he is in the final.
Yeah, he's been drawn on all of his experience, hasn't he? You've seen it time and time again. Every time there was a little moment, he found a way to win those scruffy legs, and that's what you got to do. And the final is a coin flip for me. But they've both shown fragilities throughout their two previous matches, and yeah, I give Norman a little bit of a chance. I like the cut of his jib.
What have you made of Jeff so far tonight, Alan?
I think there's no doubt that he's thinking of the prize at the end, and a few other players have been in the same position there, and you can understand why, because there's a lot at stake, because neither player really has shown their best form all the way through. We've had patches and some dodgy legs, but there's been no consistency from all of them all the way through. But this is the big moment now. This is the one. They've got to win this one, and then they've got it. And
just a word, if I can, on Dan Lauby. He's a 25-year-old. He's a young player. That was his first TV tournament this evening, first time on a big stage. What did you make of him?
Yeah, I like it. Ultimately, the action's okay. It's got some nice rhythms, some nice tempo to it. It's all about consistency, and them kind of throws are all about sort of rhythm and replicating it. As long as that first dart was close, he'd score heavy. But if he threw one that was a little bit wayward, his adjustment needs a bit of work. But you know, it's work in progress, and you know, he's a young man. This sport, I mean, we see so many great young players, but ultimately dart players tend to peak around 30.
We've got a bit of time between now and the final. Players will go off, get themselves together, and then be back on the stage in around about 15 minutes' time or so. Will Jeff, having played more recently, or will John, having had that bit longer time to sort of the gap between the semi and the final, who will it suit better, or is it too close anyway?
We have this argument a lot, don't we, with a lot of the events that we do, and it's difficult to analyse it because everybody has a different opinion. I mean, both players will be happy they're in the final. They know they've got a bit of a break, so they'll sit down, gather their thoughts, get on the practice board and just wait for the nod.
Yeah, John Norman would have had time to sit down and relax and sort of wind down before sort of winding back up again, where with Jeff it's just a case of straight back on the board, maybe a cold drink, and then just straight back on stage.
Right, whilst we wait for the final, I'm delighted to say that we can head back to the Mandalay Bay Hotel and join John McDonald for the draw of the US Darts Masters, which is taking place tomorrow, and it will pit the 8 players that we've seen this evening take on 8 of the best darts players in the world. Let's find out how the draw unfolds with John.
So our first 4 PDC players are already in the bracket. So let's see who will play the #1 seed, Peter Wright, and that will be number 10, that's Jeffrey Huffman. And now we'd like to draw the first PDC unseeded player. That's number 5, and that's Daryl Gurney, and he will play number 13, and that's John Norman Jr. And now to play the number 4 seed, Rob Cross, will be number 16, that's Ross Schnook. And now the PDC unseeded player, number 6, and that's Michael Smith, and he will play number 9, David Cameron. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to play the number 2 seed, Gary Anderson. It will be number 14, DJ Sayer. Thank you. Now the PDC unseeded player will be number 8, and that's Gerwin Price, and he will play number 12, and that's Awesome Dawson Michelle. And now, ladies and gentlemen, to play the number 3 seed, Michael van Gerwen, it's number 15, Jeff Smith. Well, our PDC unseeded player is number 7, that's James Wade, and he will play number 11, Danny Lobby. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes the draw for the William Hill US Darts Masters.
So here it is then. The draw has been made, and some spicy ties there. MVG taking on Jeff Smith, it will see in the finals shortly. And Gary Anderson against DJ Sarah. I know he didn't get too far tonight, but he played all right.
Yeah, he did. He was averaging 100 throughout the majority of that match. That'll be a decent enough test for Gary Anderson. Rob Cross, Ross Snook, another one that sort of stands out. John Norman, Daryl Gurney, another one that's... I mean, Daryl Gurney made the final last year, so he has fond memories of Las Vegas.
Any potential banana skins in there, do you think, Alan?
You always try and look for one, and you can't really see it, but we said that last year, and there was only one, which was Dawson. And
Gerwyn Price has got a tear in his Achilles. It's not on his lead foot, it's on his left leg. But ultimately, he keeps tweeting, you throw darts with your hands, not your feet.
Well, exactly, thankfully, for Gerwyn. Look, I'm sure we'll touch more on that a little bit later on, but we are going to take a quick breather here, and when we return, it will be the final of the North American Championships between John Norman Jr. and Jeff Smith.